They came and went like fog in the Willamette Valley. No title runs here, no long feuds, but each left a boot print on the canvas of Don Owen's House of Action. This is Portland Wrestling Obscurities, forgotten, brief, and barely remembered. I'm your host, Frank Culbertson, and today we've got twin lumberjacks, a legacy grappler, and a man so mighty he fractured a skull with a tire iron. Allegedly. Let's start with Mike and Pat Kelly. You couldn't miss the Kelly brothers. Mike and Pat were identical twins, balding redheads with beards, dressed like loggers straight out of Tillamook. Picture this, stocking caps, heavy plaid jackets, and faces so familiar fans had to squint to tell them apart. They weren't just lumberjacks, they were identical lumberjacks. In Portland, they wrestled 2 matches, both losses, both against Bull Ramos and a rising star named Jesse Ventura. Those bouts happened on October 1st and November 4th of 1975. And then, poof, gone from the sports arena, but not from wrestling. The Kellys had real traction in Vancouver. They snagged the tag titles there by beating Siegfried Stanky and Dale Lewis, then dropped them back 3 weeks later. Still, it was one of 8 tag title reigns the brothers collected across North America. They were journeymen, real territory guys, the kind you book when you need solid heat and no drama. But their story ends in heartbreak. On June 4th, 1988, Mike Kelly, real name Victor Arco, was killed in a car crash in Newfoundland. Also in the car, Adrian Adonis and the Canadian wildman Dave McKinney. Dave Kelly, the surviving brother, suffered a broken leg and never wrestled again. 2 matches in Portland, a lifetime of bumps elsewhere. The Kellys may have come in flannel, but they left behind heavyweight memories. If you blinked in September of 1980, you missed Dave Kochen's Portland run. A second-generation wrestler, Kochen followed his dad, Wild Bill Kochen, into the ring. Bill was a longtime AWA preliminary guy, one of those dependable vets who made the stars look good. And Dave? Well, he inherited the resume. Kochen's Portland debut was actually pretty strong. He beat Rocky De La Sera and went to time limit draws with Eric Froelich, Rocky Montero, and De La Sera once again. Not bad for a 1-month run. Then he vanished until he showed up 4 months later in the AWA. There he followed his father's footsteps as an enhancement talent and sometimes worked under the name Buddy Lane. Was he ever a top guy? No, but he was part of the glue. Wrestling needs glue guys, and Dave Kochen did his part, briefly in Portland and quietly across the Midwest. Okay, now buckle up, because this one gets weird. Ron Pope, one of the most mysterious figures to set foot in the Portland sports arena. He worked 2 matches in Portland, one in 1984 and one in 1985, both losses. First to Matt Bourne, and then to the mean man, Mike Miller. And that's it for his Portland chapter. But zoom out, and things get, well, hazy. Pope debuted in 1972 as the Magnificent Zulu. He had a look, chiseled body, huge presence, but no finesse. He topped the card in Toronto in 1974, losing to the Sheik in under a minute. But that tells you how much faith they had in his in-ring skills. He bounced around. Memphis, Texas, Vancouver, short stints, fast exits. But the real headline came outside the ring. Wrestler cowboy Frankie Lane once said Pope went ballistic after Lane refused to give him a ride to the next town. Pope grabbed a tire iron and cracked him across the skull. Allegedly. Lane spent 17 days in the hospital. The cops never caught Pope, but Lane had the scar for life. So yeah, Pope, aka Mighty Zulu, had the look, had the rep, but never the polish. And in Portland, he was barely a ghost. Twins in wool jackets, a legacy wrestler who left quietly, and a bodybuilder with a temper like a back alley firecracker. These are the names that slipped through the cracks, but not here. Portland Wrestling Obscurities is here to remember the forgotten, even if they only stepped in the ring once or twice. It's inspired by the Encyclopedia of Portland Wrestlers by Mike Rogers, available now on Amazon. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. Subscribe and follow on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you like your history pile-driven. And hit that bell because you never know what or who we'll dig up next.